But when we consider, so she says, goes on, says, when we consider that monarchy has prevailed through most of human history and seems most in accord with human nature, and when we further consider the events of the last couple of years, I rather think that it is democracy that is turning out to be the LARP. What say you? Ooh.
I can't I can't disagree. I mean, the problem is that the majority of royals have accepted the same sort of democracy that we were taught growing up, and accept A, that the voice of the politicians is the voice of the people, and B, that the majority of the people at any given time somehow have superior wisdom, which sometimes is true, sometimes isn't. It depends on the period and the weird symbiosis between rulers and ruled, because they each come to resemble one another. A corrupt rulership will produce a corrupt people. Corrupt people will produce corrupt rulers. And how you straighten that out, it's a very hard call. Um, a Catholic monarchist party in America as it is now, I cannot see any ultimately successful political action in the United States without conversion. I mean, we had a certain sort of religiosity, a certain secular religiosity, married to a moral consensus that allowed the country to function in the past. That's all gone. If anything is to replace it, it has to be the majority. And here's where majorities are important because they do set the tone. If the majority of the country were believing Catholics, her institutions would naturally and organically alter in a positive manner. And we might very well get a Catholic monarchy. But as things stand, only a minority of the states have a problem with infanticide. What kind of government are you going to come out of are you going to get out of a bunch of baby killers? It's tough. It's enough to make you retreat to the groves of dark academe, or to cultivate the core of your cottage.
Well, I'm really glad I got to introduce you to cottage. I thought cottagecore was really really popular, so that everybody kind of knew about it. But
I'm an
no,
old duffer. I don't know this stuff. I'm a boomer. Come on, say the word.
okay,
You know
boomer.
what? Thank you.
So, you know, just sort of thinking about now as we're talking about it, I don't think I believe that a good king can come out of a good people. I don't think it can work that way. I feel like it just as authority flows from the top down. I feel like learning flows from the top down. Like the people above us are naturally always going to be the teachers, and
Even if
that
what they have to teach us is garbage. But the problem is, I mean, again, you come to a chicken and egg thing. To have decent leadership, you have to have decent followers. To have decent followers, you have to have decent leadership. You have this, how you break that catch 22. I don't know. I mean, we know it happens historically. It's happened. Great leaders have arisen, and smacked everybody around, and then pulled something together. But then again, out of mass conversions of people, decent leaders have risen to the top. It is hard. It's very, very difficult, I think. It's very, very difficult to simply do. You've got to have the right things in motion, and frankly, I don't know how to do those right things. I don't know what's required. What I do know is that in our time, there's been very little in the way of decent leadership of any kind. And that cannot be a reward to a virtuous populace. I mean, think of poor old blessed Kaiser Karl. There we had a saint, and what happened to him? Or for that matter, Louis XVI on this very day, 230 years ago. He was a much better man than the people that killed him. And the majority of the nation just watched as it happened. So I don't know. But then again, you have someone like Clovis or Charlemagne who rise up and pull everything after them. I don't know.
I think whatever leaders that are good that we're going to get, there has to be one conscious decision that they have to make, which is that it's basically like the choice of Blessed Karl, that you're willing to suffer for your people. That because if you want to be a force for good, to change things, and to have a serious leadership position, you will be a target. Your life will be hell. And you have to be willing to accept that. You have to be willing to jump into that fire.
Sadly.
You know?
Yeah, it's a difficult thing. So here we are. Anyway, that's the best I've got.